welcome back. How's everybody doing? Okay. What's new? Any new news? I know. What are you going after Halloween? Who has ideas already? Nobody? Trick or treat? Are you gonna dress up though? You know what you're going as? A clown? Like it? The clown or just any?
It's like a generic.
Generic. Make your own.
Yeah.
Alright, we got a clown. Anyone else? I probably will. Yeah. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know. I mean, I ran. Yeah, she did. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we always take them trick or treat. I'm not sure what we're going at. Right? Not sure what I'm going at. But I switch it up every year. Maybe whatever's kind of popular in the news. You know, as you get older, you kind of like make up costumes, right? And usually it's like figure out what I am, right, based on current events or politics or something. So I know people who just like put stuff together, you're just kind of like, okay, you're this, okay, something else. All right, so moving along. So we're past the halfway mark. So we're going to start getting ready for presentations. So everybody's going to be put into groups. And I will select the topic for you to present. And yeah, we'll go group by group, maybe one each week or something like that. So who has an extra scratch sheet of paper I can use? So we can start doing sign up your names per group. All right, so this is how it go. Each group per table, group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sounds good? All right, so yeah. Do me a favor. You got a pen? It doesn't matter. Put it at the top of group 1. And then everybody write their names. All right, so for the group presentations, everybody must contribute to it, right? No slacking off. Typically maybe about 20 minutes to present, and maybe about 10 minutes for Q&A time, questions and answers. And yeah, everybody should at least, each person in the group should present at least 3 slides. Right? Who here is an introvert and has anxiety about presenting in front of large groups of people? You get anxiety? What helps you? Anything you can think of that helps? Yeah. Oh, just not presenting is it? Oh, okay.
Like just sending it to you instead of
But think you have to use something, right? If not, then the whole thought is anxiety, because you know you're gonna have anxiety, right? So you have anxiety before you have anxiety from the actual real thing. So you have to think of like, hey, why do I have anxiety? And get to the root of that, right? Is it because you think people are judging you? You're not sure they're saying the right stuff, right? So what's the best way to come up and talk? What's the best way to come up and talk about something, right? This is what the best presenters do. Are you guys listening over there? This is what the best presenters do, okay? I want to talk about something, not have to keep looking at the screen. Just have simple bullet points, right? Each bullet point is just an idea about something, right? If not, you're concerned with an entire sentence. Why are you focused on an entire sentence? Who cares, right? And you'll lose your train of thought because you have more to remember. Remember we said short-term memory, only 6 rounds, very, very limited time frame, right? Unless you rehearse it 1,000,000 times, you're gonna forget, right? So the simplest way is be minimal. Have your bullet points up here with just the main idea of each thing you want to talk about, right? Be kind of casual how you talk about things. Remember, yeah, we're being intellectual, scholarly, but speak in common language, right? If I came up here and I just talked about a bunch of crazy psychology terms, you'd be like, I don't understand none of this. But I try to make it relative to, you know, everyday life, like, you know, simple things. Make it simple, keep it simple. Simpler the better. Do what you gotta do to calm yourself. So you're coming up here, a lot of people hold something in their hand, right? So you say have anxiety. I don't know, get like a little ball or something. Keep your pen up here, right? Something to distract your mind from being anxious. I say sometimes move, right? In the olden days, the philosophers, they call it peripatetic, which basically means walking and talking, walking and thinking. Have you ever noticed that when you walk, you do your best thinking, right? It becomes natural. But if you just stand up here and be like, yeah, today, right? You're gonna get distracted because you're like, I'm looking at the thing too much, I forgot what I was gonna talk about. Be confident but not overconfident, right? Know what you're gonna talk about. But not overconfident of like thinking, you know, you're gonna blow it out the water, be better than other people in your group. Right, so try to match other people in your group. Yeah, those are just some of the tidbits I can give you. Keep it simple. Remember, each bullet point is just an idea of something you want to talk about. Talking about psychology, so a lot of things are theoretical. Maybe give your personal opinion about things. Yeah. Any questions? But this kind of goes to all your presentations for the rest of your courses, right? Like you either become a good presenter or very bad. Even some of the professors, you know, some of the professors I hear, they suck, right? They were boring. Why? Because, just weren't good presenters. Not everybody got it, right? Everybody don't have the skill for it. Yeah, people are like, oh, they're smart, they know the stuff, but there's a different skill. You either know how to talk to people or present, right? And if you can't work on the skill, you're like, hey, what do I lack in? Let me try to be better at that. Watch some TED Talks, right? TED Talks is good. Give an introduction, maybe make the class laugh first. Humor, lightheartedness, right? Don't be so serious. In any presentation, don't be that serious, right? Get to the serious point. Remember, each presentation you ever give is a story, it's a narrative. And if you read any book, watch any movie, watch any TV show, it follows the same format. One is phenomenal introduction. Why? So you got our attention. You don't start off strong, we don't care anymore. We lost it, right? That's what social media is about, right? That's what the little thumbnails for. Oh my gosh, what is that about? Right? You click on it like clickbait, you get me with the cool thumbnail. Story sucks, right? Wasn't relative to anything. But get the attention first. So have some clickbait, right? Have some clickbait at the beginning. The middle point is usually the meat of the presentation, right? Talk about like, hey, what is this really about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? And at the end, give a good conclusion. How's the story end? Bad, good, whatever, right? That's every story you ever read, right? In the middle is like all the substance. At the end, usually something tragic, right? And at the end, it's either like, hey, they live happily ever after, or some grief or something. Right? That's every story. That's the reason why you watch it. It's the same stuff because you cry each time, or excited, or waiting for the next episode. All right. All right, and when you're, is that the list? Oh, okay. Is the list done?
Here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So yeah, I'll make the topics relative to your generation, right? We'll be talking about high school, social media, dating, relationships, college, right? So I'll make the topics something that's not boring. Or if you want, you can select your own topics. Is there something you want to do on your own? Or would you like me to select the topics to talk about relative to anything dealing with psychology? What are we thinking? You want to choose your own topics to talk about within your group? Or you want Professor Ross to choose the topics? You know, I was thinking stuff like the dynamics of dating as what are you, Zennials, Millennials, what is it? I forget, Gen Z, okay, whatever. Right, you can talk about, hey, dating relationships. Another person can speak to like trauma in your age group. It could be things about your age group. It could be social media, anything dealing with psychology, our perceptions, perspectives, the dynamics, things we've talked about, emotions, behaviors, triggers, compulsions, anything you wish to talk about. So show me some hands if you want to choose your own topic within your group. Nobody wants to choose their own topic. All right, well, I'll choose the topics. Topics are going to be extremely controversial stuff since I'm choosing. Make me come up here and talk about some uncomfortable stuff. No, I won't make you mad. That'll be decent. And when you're done with the list, can you bring it back up here, please? Okay, any questions before we begin?
So does it have to be like a online presentation, like through slides?
Yeah, I mean, you'll do a PowerPoint,
Okay.
right? You'll do a PowerPoint on Canvas. I'll have it to where you can submit one as a group, right? And then, you know, email it to me or something like that so that I can pull it up when it's time for you to present. Deal? Okay, so I'm thinking next Monday, group 1 can present. And then we will maybe do one group per week. What do you think?
That's fine.
Monday or Wednesday? Let's say let's do Monday. Right? Yeah, I think Monday's better. Wednesday, everybody gets.
Next week.
We'll do each Monday. Yeah, so we'll do each Monday, and I'll put it on Canvas. I'll put the list of groups, and I'll put the dates for each. But we'll do every Monday, starting with group 1, and then go in succession. Okay, any questions before we begin? All right, so now we're at motivation and emotions, right? What is motivation? How do you get it, right? Where's it come from? What's the source of it, right? All these different things. What's motivation? Someone give me your own definition of motivation.
Something you wake up to every day and it gets you going for the day.
Okay, something to get you going, right? Something to get you going. Okay. Anyone else? Spin on that or anything? Right. Think of motivation as energy, directed energy. Like everything we do, whether it's even a thought, right? Things we can't measure, things that are really actions. We need energy, right? We got to direct our energy to say like, hey, this needs dedication. Every single thing in your life, every movement, every thought is energy, right? So, like, what drives that energy? What makes you drive to complete college? Like, what made you want to be here in the first place? What made you even interested? Right? Some people are, no, absolutely not. I didn't even consider it, right? Some people say, I didn't even consider the question, right? Like, I am absolutely not stimulated. Right? right? So think of the motivations behind it, it gets deep. So do we actually know what motivation is? No, we have theories. No one knows how energy is sort of manifested to make you do something or be interested in it, right? It's complex. It could be genetics, environment, all sorts of things, right? So we'll try to understand the theories behind it. There's some basic physiological ones that make, just plain rationale. So let's say, all right, so we'll look at some concepts, affiliations and achievement, hunger, right? Theories of physiology of emotion and expressing and experiencing emotion. Emotion we'll touch probably later in the week, which is interesting because we tend to be very emotional species. All right, so like I said before, we have theories on motivation. We're not too sure exactly what makes you motivated. Right? We say one, you have to have a stimulus. You have to be stimulus. A radar has to go off in your essence to say, haha, I'm stimulated by this. Let me direct some energy towards this thing, right? So we can say an evolutionary theory is one is instincts, genetically predisposed behaviors. You're born with your genes, you did not choose these genes. They came from mom, dad, grandfather, and they go all the way back to the first human beings, right? Not all the genes, but maybe some of the base genes. But maybe you got some particular ones from mom and dad or grandparents. So you have genetically predisposed behaviors. Say, I'm motivated to drink alcohol. Why? Because dad or mom drank alcohol for a long time. They mutated the gene. So therefore, when I was born, I will hit a sensitive gene towards alcohol. Right? Sensitive meaning relative to somebody else, I'm sensitive, somebody else is not. Yes?
So like for instance, like if my parents are alcoholics and that gene got passed down to me, but I wasn't and I didn't like pursue that gene, would it go away or I still have it? My kids, will they have it?
No, I mean, it gets interesting. It can skip, right? We said the gene can skip. But if you don't, we say we're talking likelihood and probabilities, right? We can't speak to 100% facts, right? We say, no, it's a high likelihood they won't, right? You're trying to wane that gene out of the gene pool, right? But think that's anything. You're like, mom and dad were lazy. I had a lazy gene, right? For certain things. But think about that. You have the genetics that make you maybe very similar in what you want to do, what you're motivated by. Like, I'm doing just like everybody else in my family did. We all share the same genes, so we're all doing the same stuff. Right? We all went to college. We all wanted to be lawyers. We all wanted to do this. Right? That could be a theory. Another one is drive reduction theory, response to inner pushes and pulls. Remember we say, hey, we have a balance point, homeostasis. Maybe life is just being pushed and pulled to get back to balance. Like, hey, I do too much of this, I feel anxiety, I gotta pull back to get back to balance, right? Hey, I'm doing too little of something, I don't feel right. I gotta do more to pull back to balance. Maybe life is about constant fluctuations, ups and downs, to try to stay centered, right? That's the theory. We say, hey, we're trying to reduce the drive, right? Respond to pushes and pulls of life. Arousal theory, finding the right stimulation level. When we say it's good to be stimulated, in order to be stimulated, stuff gets done. Not stimulated, nothing gets done. Nothing in life gets done, right? You may just lay there and die of hunger because you're not even stimulated to go move and get something to eat, right? You have to be stimulated in order to do something. So we could say with arousal theory, we're trying to get the right stimulating level. Why? Because we like pleasure. Remember, Freud says pleasure principle. Human beings lean towards pleasure. They don't lean towards pain, right? So we like a little bit of pleasure, we like to be aroused in some way, right? You better I like to be happy, that I need some sort of arousal, I like to feel good. I need food. You're like, hey, food comforts me. Oh, it brings you pleasure. Yeah, so give me good food and I'm good. Give me money, I'm good. That's my stimulator, that's my arousal. For other people, it could be women, men, dating, family. We just want the right arousal for certain things, right? And then stimulation gives us a motivation to be motivated to keep growing in some way. And then last, we have Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Anyone ever came across Maslow's in high school? What can you tell us about Maslow? Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so Maslow just starts with, hey, prioritizing, right? In order to get other stuff done, we got to prioritize things at the base, right? You're not showing up Dominican if you have nothing to eat and drink. How about you get you some food first, some water so you can be alive when you show up. You're not getting to Dominican if you have no money to get over here, right? So you better get prioritize. I need transportation. Right? Yeah, you probably have transportation if you don't have anywhere to live. You say, yeah, I need a place to live or some shelter. I need clothes, right? So we'll look at the base and then we'll look up what happens beyond that, right? Making $1 billion and having a family and traveling the entire globe. And then we'll look beyond that. Right? We think that's not really the answer. So yes, prioritizing some needs over others, right? We say we're motivated because in our minds, there's something big we want to do, but we know there's steps that have to be taken to do it, right? Anything. There's steps that have to be taken to get to them. Right? I got to transport my body, I got to eat a little bit. There's steps, step by step, right? All right, so we say with instinct, all right? So we say, well, maybe a lot of our motivation is instinct. Right? But we say instincts is unlearned. And it's complex. You don't teach instinct, right? You don't learn instinct. Now here's the trick, you can learn it. Remember we say for anything to become natural, it has to become automatic, right? When we say taking from the conscious to the subconscious, making things automatic. It just become who we are, we no longer think about it, we just do it. Like taking notes. Taking notes right now, are you thinking about it? No, you're not. Your hand is just moving because you've done it 1 billion times. It's natural to you, right? So yeah, maybe you say, hey, note taking, when I see something stimulating on the board, for any professor, you're like, it's instinctual now, right? So here we say, yes, unlearn fixed patterns, but yeah, you learn new stuff and you try to make it natural and automatic, and now it becomes instinctual, right? Like if you learn how to box, you become instinctual. You certain defenses and moves because you get touched in half a second, right? So it becomes natural. But it's automatic, which means that we don't have to put any effort. So instincts require a little bit of effort, mental effort, I would say. And then we say evolutionary theory, so we kind of talk about that, right? We say that's where instincts come from, or those predisposed genes that make things automatic. All right, and so with drive reduction theory, we say physiological needs create an aroused, motivated state, an incentive, right? You're hungry, you're motivated. You're motivated to do what? You're in a motivated state to do what? Satisfy your hunger, right? In order to satisfy hunger, food will do that. So the incentive is food. You're motivated to get food because you're in a state of arousal in some way. When physiological needs increase, so does the psychological drive to reduce those needs. Right? So when they increase, when the body, we say, hey, mind and body are kind of two separate things. Your body's hungry. Your mind interprets how hungry you are. Right? Your body is something different than your mind. Like your body needs what it wants, and it does not care about your morality, your ethics. Right? Same will go with sex. Your body left to every human being to satisfy themselves the way they want with how many people they want to. The body craves that, desires, right? Now your brain will say, I probably shouldn't do that, right? Probably shouldn't do that as much. Probably shouldn't do that with that many people because cause and effect, right? But your body says something different. So your morality, your brain, your logic, your reason is saying, we probably shouldn't, right? So it's this conflict between the body and the brain, right? Even though the brain is part of the body. So yes, so we try to come back to homeostasis. So this is pushed by need to reduce drives, pulled by incentives, right? Which means everything we do when we're motivated is deemed as an incentive. We're only doing it because we think it's something helpful. Right, you're taking notes right now. You're motivated to take notes because you think it's helpful to you later, right? But you're not really conscious of it. All right, some motivated behaviors can increase rather than decrease arousal. So human motivation aims to find optimal arousal levels, not to eliminate arousal. So we say, hey, guess what? Most of us, if we could, we would get what we want when we want it. If we could, we'd have $1 billion. Right? Don't you just want $1 million? Like, no. You're giving me an option, I want the most. Right? Giving me an option as a human being, I'm gonna do the most. Right? I wanna go to 5 countries, I wanna go to 100. Right? That's what human beings have motivation for. And so we say, hey, sometimes we do too much. Right? That's not good. Maybe that's not good for you to have that much of anything. Is it that good to take that much cocaine? Right? Is it that good to take that much heroin? Is it good to drink that much alcohol? Is it good to eat that much food? But no, there's a fine balance, right? And some things shouldn't be done at all. But we say, hey, why are you doing it? Why are you taking the cocaine, the heroin, the meth, the crystal meth, promiscuity? Why are you engaging in that? Right? Why are you doing it? Because it feels good. Simple answer, right? Human beings want to feel good. Most of us want to feel too good, not knowing that it'll be detrimental to us, right? Eventually it'll crash. It all can crash now. So Yerkes and Dawson, who are some researchers in our field, states that moderate arousal leads to optimal performance. Moderate. All things in moderation usually are the best way for anything, right? Moderate. For example, if you say, hey, I got an exam coming up, I haven't really studied, I'm too casual about it, it's not that serious, right? I'm not too aroused about it anyway, I'm not too motivated. Come in, take the test, we say, hey, motivation creates attention, and you're not too attentive to the test, now you fail, even though you thought you knew this stuff. Because you weren't fixed on the little details of what's being asked of you, concepts, what have you. And you fail. And then on the other hand, you're like, hey, I'm freaking out about this test. I've been studying for it for over a month. Right? I know this test. I know every definition, concept. And now you come in to take the exam and you're so freaked out, anxiety, that now you're focused on other stuff. You're like, how much time I got? Oh my gosh, what's this one? All right, this one. Now you failed again. You failed even though you knew everything. Because you're too aroused about it. And we say too much arousal creates anxiety. Now you've crossed the threshold and entered the realm of anxiety. Right? So moderation is key. Right? Good arousal, not too much. Some alcohol, not too much. Right? So yeah. So yes, not too much. And then with Maslow's. So with Maslow's, we say at the base, physiological needs that first must be satisfied before we do anything else. Right? Forget your career, forget school. You need to eat first, have clothes, and have a place to live before you're concerned about career, money, education, all those stuff, right? Things have to be met first. People can fulfill their higher level safety needs and then their psychological needs. So we say first thing is to protect the body. Before we're all concerned about how wonderful we want to be with our creative mind, our ego, all this stuff. We want to say, hey, protect the body, food, shelter, water, make sure I'm safe, I can sleep at night, well, et cetera, et cetera. So here's Maslow's, right? You'll come across Maslow's your entire academic journey. This is not the only course, you'll see it in economics, all science fields, all sorts of things, right? Anything particularly just dealing with social sciences when it comes to human beings and how they interact. So we say at the bottom, the need to satisfy hunger and thirst first, right? Now we say, hey, my class has that. Now we say safety needs, the need to feel that the world is organized and predictable, and to feel safe, secure, and stable. Interesting. You live in the United States, you live in Chicago, Illinois, right? The third largest metropolitan area in the country. You feel pretty safe. Relative, right? Chicago. But say for the most part, you're not in some war-torn area. You're not in some major conflict. You feel pretty safe. You can predict the weather, the time the bus is gonna come, the traffic. Things are pretty predictable. So we say, all right, you got your safety needs. Next, we got belongingness and love needs. And we say we're social animals, right? You go off and move to that cabin in Montana to get off grid because you don't want to talk to your family no more, friends, you hate everybody. It sounds great in theory. You still might die an early death. Why? Because we say the body doesn't care what the mind thinks it cares about. Right? Your cells will begin to die out because they say, yeah, interesting, we're not doing nothing with other people. We have no purpose, right, to live with. This is what happens sometimes when you reach an age and you're sitting in a nursing home, right? Even if you have a good mind, your body is saying, we don't do anything. Your cells begin to say, no more purpose for this entity, this person, right? So we say we are social. You will live longer if you're happy with your family than if you isolate yourself. That's all the data suggests that, right? You will live a longer, healthier life. So we say, well, there's a natural need to belong and to have love, right? The need to love and be loved, to belong and be accepted, need to avoid loneliness and separation. So we want to be accepted. There's a constant desire, whether it's conscious or not, doesn't matter. Like, hey, you want to get the money and the career for what? You might say, I don't know, I just want to be successful. That could be partially true. The other part could be like you actually want praise from other people to talk about how great you are. Eventually, right? You want to make your mom and dad proud, right? You want people to praise you for achievement, accomplishment, something. So we say, yes, we want to belong, we want people to like us. That's what social media is about, right? Like, share, follow, right? I belong. People, and so we join all types of groups, right? And we become part of groups, whether we like it or not. You're in a group. You ask you your race, ethnicity, gender, sex, you'll give me an answer, which means you're part of a group, of a collective, and so on. What religion are you? What nation? What nationality? All sorts of things. We're all parts of groups. So we say we want to belong to those groups, right? Be accepted. So maybe we say, you all for right now at this age, right? Gen Zers, right? Where's the Zen? Gen Zers. So we say maybe you're here, right? Because you haven't got to the next one, which is esteem needs. Maybe you're trying to get here now. You're in a transition period. The need for self-esteem, achievement, competence, independence, need for recognition and respect from others. Maybe you're in that phase. You're like, how am I gonna do that, Dr. Ross? Well, you're like, I need some money. How am I gonna get the money? I need a job. I don't just want a job, I want a career with a phenomenal title so I can tell everybody about it, right? And they can tell me how wonderful the title is, what you do, right? So you say that's important. You wanna be recognized. You want respect from people, right? You want to be independent, not have to ask and depend on people anymore. Mom and dad, right? You want your own car, your own place, maybe your own family, right? You want to be confident, you feel confidence in what you're doing, and that'll build up self-esteem, value of self. How valuable do you think you are to the world, or to your family, or to your social groups, right? Or to others. So we say maybe that's the area you're trying to achieve now. You're trying to move from, all right, belong, right? You did that in high school. Everybody's trying to fit in groups, be cool, who's not cool, who's pretty, who's handsome, who's not, right? All of these things, and now you're trying to move to doing something bigger. Now let's say you get all of this. You got it. Got the job. Awesome. Greatest title ever. Doctor, lawyer, I don't know, something crazy. How much you make a year? 10 million a year. How many countries you travel to? 100. Islands, all of them. Cars, all the ones you could possibly make. House, 15,000 square feet. Right? And that, now what? So think about that. We have a constant now what? Right? So we are being driven to reach these plateaus, maybe without even thinking about it. It's like, hey, we're gonna get here and we're gonna be satisfied. You're like, hey, Dr. Ross, as soon as I get that money, that job, that family, and I traveled everywhere, I'll feel good about myself. I'll be satisfied. And maybe you do it, and you say, I still feel empty. It's just another car, just a big house, right? It's just people. I've been everywhere, still feel the same. You're like, well, got some more growing to do, right? The cars and the money didn't satisfy. And now you say something else happened. Self-actualization. Need to live up to our own fullest and unique potential. And so you're like, hey, Dr. Ross, guess what? All that stuff I did to get all that accumulation of wealth, power, titles, I was doing it for other people. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't have a real identity. I didn't have time to think about it. So I was too busy mimicking other people and what I thought they wanted to do. And now I'm thinking about it. Now I got a new potential. I got something else I want to do, right? Something beyond. Say you reach that point and then you finally hit the top. Very few people get to this point. If you're lucky, you get to that. Self-transcendence. You transcend yourself. That means if you're lucky enough to live that long, maybe you have that wisdom. Think about maybe your grandparents have it. And so while you're telling your grandparents about all the stuff, I'm telling them about social media stuff, boyfriends, girlfriends, my new job, my career, the house I bought, the condo, the car, where I traveled to. And you're like, hey, grandma, grandpa, don't you want to do all this? They're like, no, I'm not interested. I just want to be around you guys, share love with my family, do simple things, a cup of coffee or something. I'm like, why you don't want to do all this stuff? How come I want to do it? Like, well, we're in a different space. Grandma and grandpa realize it ain't about them no more. Okay? They realize some real self-transcendence. They say, oh, my whole life I've been egotistical. It's been all about me. All about me. At some point you may wake up, if you're lucky to live that long, or be that wise, and says, it's not about me. Why? You start to have real philosophical questions. Maybe it could be religious stuff too, spiritual, and you're like, oh, everybody dies, including me. So what's the big purpose to this whole story? Why does existence happen? What is experience itself? What is consciousness? What is, you start to have some real big stuff and realizing that a lot of stuff here didn't really mean that much. Maybe, right? But it didn't really mean that much. I thought it did. Right? All the stuff to do, running around, eventually you're like, no, it's simple. Maybe you just gotta love each other, treat each other with respect, do simple things, keep life as simple as possible. The more stuff you have, the more worry you have, right? So like having too much stuff is not good. Keep it simple. So yes, you try to find meaning and identity beyond the self. Usually it's when people find, say, God, right? So they say, hey, it's not really about me, it's about something beyond me, it's something about the Creator, right? All these bigger things, right? And you go beyond yourself. So this is Maslow's. This happens to be the normal trajectory of life, right? Some of us make it to some of these things, others don't, right? For whatever reasons that things can happen. But usually if you meet these people, they're very wise and very simple. This all seems complicated, right? Do this, do that, get that, but necessary as well too. I, for one, can speak for myself and be like, yeah, I've done all this stuff, right? We want to get the money, got it. The degrees, got that too. The title, the respect, got that too. Independence, sure. Achievement, sure. Belonging is love, sure. Is that the answer? Absolutely not, right? I own a Ferrari, travel around the world and all stuff, cool. But what does it really mean? Not much in reality, right? It's good for a time being. It's like eating McDonald's. It tastes really good and it kind of, it's like whatever, right? You move on to something else. But this stuff is where it's at. Like thinking about ideologies, philosophy, about life, what all works. All right. Okay, so just to wrap this up, hey, we need food and water first. We gotta prioritize, right? Then we get drive, hunger, and thirst, and then we have drive reducing behavior. Right? So we want to reduce. We have the drive. Now we want to reduce it. Drive is hunger and thirst. How do we reduce that drive? By eating or drinking something. Does that make sense? All right. Any question about this?
Did we get our comments today for our project?
Yeah, I will. 7 groups. I'll upload it probably sometime tonight on Canvas. You'll see it in the announcement. So that group 1 can start working on things. All right. So before we go, so if we have motivation, you just say, hey, is energy directed towards a stimulus? The thing is, we're not all stimulated by the same thing, so we're not all motivated by the same thing, right? We're all motivated by different, except the physiological needs, which is pretty universal across the board, so the things we absolutely need regardless. All right, everyone. If there's no other questions, I will see you on Wednesday. Have a good rest of your day.